We're going to start this episode of Sideline by taking a moment of silence because it's the last sideline of the semester. Tonight we'll be covering baseball and softball races to the playoffs. We'll also be taking a look at track and field as well as golf. We'll also have a couple good minutes where our guys are drafting for their favorite team, and as always, we'll finish with a case of the week. So what are we waiting for? It's time to head on down to the Pioneer Sideline. Welcome to the Pioneer Sideline. I'm your host, Kyle Anthony. We'll be starting off the sideline with the Pioneer baseball team, who is trying to wrap up another KIAC title. So, to see if they were able to do anything this weekend, I'm going to flip it over to Paul Daniels. So, Paul, tell us what's going on.
Thanks, Kyle. The Pioneers matched up against NCAA Division II Seton Hill in a doubleheader last Wednesday. Both games featured a lot of offense. In the first one, Point Park jumped out to a 3-0 lead after the top of the first inning. However, the Pioneers would relinquish 3 runs of their own due to the multiple errors in the bottom half of the inning. Demetrius Moore came back with a 2-run shot in the second inning to put Point Park back on top 5-3. But the Griffins followed that up with back-to-back homers of their own to finish the second inning. The Pioneers would come back again and take an 8-7 lead with Oscar Romero's solo shot in the 5th inning. They would not be able to hold on to that lead again, though, as they lost in the end 9-8. In the nightcap, Point Park didn't have enough offense once again to overcome Seton Hill's 6 runs and was swept by the Griffins. The highlights of this one was Mark Kalela's 3-run home run, and for Point Park, Stefan Conja's 2-run double. KIAC opponent IU Southeast played in a 4-game series against Point Park over this past weekend. A similar storyline played out in the first 2 games of the series, with the Pioneers getting a decent lead, but eventually would give it up. They had a comfortable 4-1 lead in the first game until Nate Spohn gave up 5 runs in the 5th inning. The Pioneers would go on to lose 6-4. They would grab an early 2-0 lead after the first inning of the second game, but struggled to do much after that and would lose their 4th straight game 5-3. The following day, Point Park had to win at least one of the 2 games to seal the KIAC regular season championship. Jason Kim in the first game threw a gem. He pitched a complete game 2-hit shutout, and the Pioneers capitalized, breaking the losing streak with a 3-0 win. The second game didn't come as easy as Point Park was tied 2-2 heading into the bottom of the 7th, when Moore hit a walk-off sacrifice fly to win the game. They now have 3 more home series before the regular season is over and have a 31-10 record overall heading into the last 3 games.
Now, Paul, what happened on Saturday with the losses?
Hey, they just played a better team in Seton Hill. As I said, they're a D2 NCAA team, and they just had better pitching and better offense in the end. They lost to them twice, close margins, 9-8 and 6-4. They just weren't able to get it done. And then they played against IU Southeast, and they're a good team in the KIAC. I believe they came in 2nd this year in the KIAC behind Point Park. But yeah, just 2 better teams, and Point Park was able to get the KIAC title in the end.
Now, how big has Jason Kim been for this team?
Well, huge. Not only him, though, but Nate Spohn, Krivojansky, Jared Brown, all those guys for starting pitching has really helped the ball club in an immense way.
Now, Paul, how is this team able to win so many games so many different ways?
Well, it all starts with their pitching. When they're pitching well, they give themselves a chance every time, but really comes down to baseball, and any team, your pitching's good, you always have a chance.
Thanks, Paul. Now it's time to talk about the softball team, who is trying to finish on a high note. Josh Krupp has it covered, so Josh, were they able to finish on that high note?
Kyle, by high note, if you mean like a high G above the staff, yes. But let's talk about the weather. It is heating up, and so is this Point Park softball team. Winners of 7 straight and 8 of its last 10, they should head into the KIAC tournament as the number 2 seed in the conference after a week that can be summed up with just one word: domination. Point Park did, however, enter the week on a not-so-hot streak, losing 5 of its last 9 conference games. The week all started with a non-conference doubleheader against Waynesburg. The Pioneers won Game 1 9-0 after 5 innings and Game 2 11-7. They then went into the final weekend of games before the conference tournament. Their opponent was the Midway College Eagles, who have struggled this season and currently sit second to last in the conference. It was set up to be a nice tune-up for the Pioneers before the conference tournament, and boy, did they tune up. The Pioneers completed a 4-game sweep over Midway in dominating fashion. Winning each game after 5 innings due to the mercy rule, the Point Park Bats tallied 44 runs over the 4 games and allowed only 3 runs in the first inning. In the first inning of Game 4, Point Park scored 10 of its 11 runs en route to an 11-1 victory. Prior to the start of Game 3 in the series, Point Park recognized its 9 seniors who have helped carry the team to a 28-14 overall record and a 21-7 KIAC record. The Pioneers have the most wins in the conference, but currently trail IU Southeast in the loss column, which would give them a second-place finish in the conference. Last year, the Pioneers finished second in the conference before failing to advance in the double elimination style conference tournament. Now, senior Karen Mao has led the Pioneers offense this year and currently leads the conference in RBIs. But one player who has stood out this year is freshman Jessica Beitler, who leads the team in hitting with a .460 batting average, which is also good for second in the KIAC. The Bats have been hot for Point Park, and their 2 leading pitchers have been just as good. Another senior, Kate Reese, and junior Hannah Harley are among the conference leaders in wins and ERA. After a few cancellations due to scheduling conflicts, the Pioneers are attempting to find another matchup to prep for the KIAC tournament this weekend. But conference matchups for the Pioneers are complete, and if the season ended today, they would be the number 2 seed in the tournament and face the number 7 seed in that first round. The current 7 seed, the Midway College Eagles.
Now, Josh, how big was this weekend for the team?
You always want to go into these conference tournaments on a high note, as you said earlier, and it was a good high note. We expected it to be a nice tune-up against Midway, who has struggled this year, and it was a nice tune-up. It was a good way to end the season with honoring the seniors, getting the nice 4-game sweep. On top of that, beating a Waynesburg team in a come-from-behind fashion in Game 2 of that series.
Now, who were some of the best players this season?
Like I mentioned previously, Karen Mao has led this offense. She's second on the team in home runs with 8 this season, and she has 56 RBIs, which leads the conference. When runners get on and you have Mao up to bat, there's no doubt in your mind that she's going to produce. There are 2 starting pitchers that have carried the team this year. Harley and Reese have stepped up immensely, and if these 2 can be productive on the mound, there's no reason that they can't make a push for the conference title.
Now, can they go deep in the conference tournament and actually end up winning the KIAC?
The first round, if they get Midway, it shouldn't be hard to get out of that first round. Then we could face Rio Grande and or IU Southeast, and we're going to have to beat one of those 2 teams, if not both of them, to win this title. And those are the 2 that gave us struggles this year. We lost 3 of 4 against Rio and 2 of 4 against IU Southeast. But if the team can come out and if they can put together a game that we've seen them put together, if Reese and Harley can be good on the mound, if Beitler and Mao can produce from beside the plate, there's no reason they cannot win the tournament.
Thanks, Josh. When we get back on the sideline, we'll be talking about track and golf.
Start your morning with City News.
Start your morning with campus news.
Start your morning with political coverage.
Start your morning with fun.
Start your morning with us, only on Daybreak.
Did you know that Point Park has a cheerleading squad?
Don't
Don't get it confused.
Not only do our cheerleaders represent Point Park at regional and national competitions, but they also promote spirit and awareness of every sports team on campus. Come to any men's or women's varsity basketball game at home to watch the cheerleaders perform at halftime and cheer from the sidelines from the first jump ball to the final buzzer. Sports not your thing? You can catch the cheer team lead the crowd at the fall and spring pep rallies as well, or at several competitions around Pittsburgh each year. So what are you waiting for? Show the Point Park cheerleaders the support they show you.
We know you're wondering what the A-list celebrities are up to.
Well, here at Entertainment on Point, we're wondering too.
Have you heard about James Franco and Seth Rogen's new movie?
No, but have you heard Beyonce's new single?
Did you see what she was wearing on that red carpet?
Honey, that was not cute.
Did you see what happened on Scandal this week?
No, I was too busy keeping up with the Kardashians. No matter what your guilty pleasure is, we've got you covered.
Entertainment on Point. Get to the point of pop culture.
Yeah!
Welcome back to the Sideline. We'll now head to the track with Blaine King. So Blaine, take it away.
Thanks, Kyle. As we wrap up things for the year here at the Pioneer Sideline, both the men and women track and field teams are still running strong, throwing long, and jumping far. This weekend, they took part in the Dave Labor Invitational, which was hosted by Slippery Rock University. On the women's side of things, the sprinters led the way for the Pioneers in both the 100 and 200 meter dashes. Amber Brown finished with KIAC best in both those events. In the 100 meter dash, she finished with a time of 12.7 seconds. And in the 200 meter dash, she finished with a time of 26.06 seconds. In the 4x100 relay, a group made up of Amber Brown, Jania McAllister, Taylor Fowler, and Sharice Langley set a school record by finishing with a time of 49.66 seconds, which was best for 6 at the Invitational. Katie Garnashia had the best finish of the day. She finished second in the 5,000 meter run with a time of 18 minutes and 32 seconds. The men also had a good day as well. Dry Davis and Sean Berry had set school records in the jumps. Davis placed 5th in the triple jump with a leap of 13.58 meters, and Berry had a leap of 1.995 meters in the high jump, which was good enough for 7th. Eric Torres had the best finish of the day. He placed 1st in the 10,000 meter run with a time of 33 minutes and 8 seconds. He finished 22 seconds ahead of the runner in 2nd place. The men also came up 1 second shy of the school records in 2 events. In the 4x100 relay, the Pioneers ran a time of 44.001 seconds, which was 1/10 of a second over the school record. And in the 4x400 relay, they finished with a time of 3 minutes and 34.51 seconds, which was 1 second higher, than the school record. Next up for both the men and women is the KIAC Championship, which will be held at the University of Rio Grande on Saturday, April 25th.
Now, Blaine, what did you think of the season?
Well, this being their inaugural season, both Pioneers teams had successful seasons. They've set school records. They finished in top five in a lot of categories throughout the year, and that's something to be proud of, especially with this being your first year. Next year, look for improvement and for them to actually be contending in the KIAC.
Now, Blaine, I want an honest answer from what you've seen. How long till the teams of Point Park are on top?
Well, these two teams, literally, I could see them actually being on top next year, if not 2 years from now. This is a young team, and they're just going to grow together. While they, like I mentioned, they finished top 5 in many categories, and by them just getting that experience, next year you'll see them finish even closer to the top, and I say from 2 years from now, we should see them actually contending at the top, being a 1 or 2 team.
Thanks, Blaine. Now we go to the links with Phil Paport. So, Phil, take us around in the cart.
This past week found one golf team heating up just in time for the KIAC tournament, while the other saw its season come to an end in the conference tournament. First, we'll look at the men's squad. Last weekend, the team competed at the Edward Jones Shootout hosted by Carnegie Mellon. The team shot an overall score of 304 in the first round, which was good enough for second at the end of day 1, 9 strokes behind the host team, CMU. The team was paced by the low scores from seniors Colin Holmes and Eric Popolowski. They shot opening scores of 74 and 78 respectively. Heading into day 2, the Pioneers looked to gain some strokes on CMU. The Pioneers came out strong and managed to post a final round score of 300, which was their best round of the spring. Once again, Holmes and Popolowski came through with low scores, Holmes with a 75 and Popolowski with a 74. Even with a better final round, the Pioneers finished in 3rd. St. Vincent fired a round of 298 to take 2nd place by a stroke, and CMU bested their first round score by 7 strokes to post a final round 288 and take the tournament. The Pioneers had a chance for redemption Tuesday, April 14th at the CMU Spring Invite, a one-day tournament. This competition was much more competitive, with the top 5 teams separated by a mere 6 strokes. Holmes yet again came through with a strong performance, posting a 73, which was tied for the 6th best score along with freshman teammate Max Kaminsky. The Pioneers would shoot a team score of 303, which was a 4th place finish. Grove City won this tournament with a score of 300. Due to his great play, Holmes was named the KIAC Golfer of the Week. This weekend, the men will take part in the KIAC Championship in Liberty, Indiana. Now for the women. Over the weekend, the team went to Santa Claus, Indiana to participate in the KIAC Championship. Here, 5 teams participated, and the Pioneers looked to send off their 5 seniors with the program's first conference title. It was a tough start for the Pioneers as the team shot a 380 in the opening round, which was 52 strokes behind the leader, Brescia University. Knowing they had one final round ahead of them, the seniors played their hearts out, and the team fired back with one of the best overall rounds of the year. Paced by the play of senior and UVU's own Caroline Collins and freshman Elena Lancia, the team shot 34 strokes better on the final day with a score of 346. Collins paved the way in her final tournament with an individual score of 167. This was the best score on the team and the 5th best individual score at the tournament. Collins' effort earned her all KIAC team honors. In her first ever conference tournament, Lancia was poised and posted a 175, which was the 2nd best score for Point Park. Though the team bounced back the second day, the deficit was too much to overcome and Brescia ran away with the tournament, posting a score of 657 to Point Park's 726. It was a sad ending to the careers of these seniors, but we here at Sideline want to thank you for building the foundation of the women's golf program.
When we come back from break, some of our guys will be putting on the caps of their favorite teams and we'll be drafting for them. All that and more when we return to the Sideline.
Here at the Pioneers Sideline, we get freshmen involved as quickly as possible so they get the real-world experience on air and behind the scenes to set themselves apart in internships and potential jobs. Blaine, where is that video? I needed it in KeyPro like yesterday.
All right, I got you, Chris. But I had a quick question for you guys.
What do you mean the questions? It's always a question. It's always a... What? Where is he? Blaine.
Blaine.
Blaine! Freshman, you can't find any good ones anymore.
Ever wanted to be behind the mic and have the world listening to your show on campus? Well, it's just as simple as joining WPPJ, Point Park's student-run radio station, located on the 2nd floor of Lawrence Hall, right next to the dining services. Listeners can tune in using Point Park's website or through the TuneIn app by searching WPPJ. WPPJ welcomes any new DJs that want to get involved, so be heard. Do you have what it takes?
Welcome back. I'm joined by Paul Daniels, Blaine King, and myself. And guys, the question is, we're going to be drafting for our favorite teams. I got the Steelers. Paul, you got the Giants. Blaine, you got the Eagles. Yeah. So, Paul, since you got the lowest pick, you started off, buddy.
Number 9.
Who do you got in your first 3 rounds?
I guess you get something for losing a lot, but yeah.
Right.
The 9th pick, we need an offensive tackle. A lot of experts have picked Brandon Scherf. So it's hard to go against some of the experts' picks. So I'd have to go with him if he's available from Iowa. Also, we have defensive end needs, inside linebacker, and free safety needs. Losing Antrell Worrell last year was big. So if he's not available, I could see him going Eric Flowers in the first round as well from Miami. Another offensive tackle. Or if they're both not available, we'll Shane Ray and take a chance from him from Missouri.
All right, 2nd round, who you have?
2nd round, I got Eli Harold from Virginia, a defensive end. Or if he's not available, Denzel Perryman from Miami, an inside linebacker.
3rd round, who you finishing with?
3rd round, Demarius Randall, a free safety to fill in that hole from Roll. Or A.J. Cann, offensive guard from South Carolina.
Blaine, you got the Eagles. Who you got with your first 3 picks?
All right, first round, a bit of a shocker, but I'm going with Brent Hundley for the first pick by the Eagles in the first round. I think they're going to trade down to compile more picks, but I think that's the direction they'll go. Second round, the Eagles go receiver, and just because this guy has gotten, there's reports that he's been hurt and that he doesn't need surgery on his wrist, but I think they're going to go with Jalen Strong. I think he drops out. And in the third round, I have him going strong safety, and now with Jaquiski Tart from Samford, hard-hitting safety.
Oh, Blaine. Do you really have Brett Hundley going for first pick?
Yeah.
You wonder why your organization blows. All right, now we're going to go
just
Steelers.
signed Tim Tebow.
Hey, at least I didn't finish with like
our
6
first
wins.
Pick, I'm going to be realistic. We're going to take Marcus Peters. That's right, the goon from Washington. He's a good playing safety. Yes, he has some temper issues, but he's a good player. Second round, the Steelers will take defensive end outside linebacker Nate Orchard from the University of Utah. And third and final pick, I'm going with a tight end. That's right. Heath Miller's replacement comes in because he's done. Clive Wofford, tight end at University of Miami. All right, now I'm going to criticize you guys' drafts. Then I'll let you do mine. Then we'll go counterpoint for counterpoint. Blaine, Jalen Strong's not making it to the second round. So, and I don't think you go Hundley in the first round. With the Eagles' first pick, you know who they're going with?
Who? Please tell me.
DGB, Doriel Green Beckham.
No, they're not.
That's right. You're going with the goon from Missouri.
How are you going to tell my team what to go with?
Shh. Let me offer my point. He is the best wide receiver in the draft outside of Amari Cooper. Best possession
Kevin
receiver.
White.
Kevin White.
No, he's better than Kevin White.
Devontae Parker.
Better than Devontae Parker.
You lost your mind.
There's only really one Beckham in the NFL.
You know what?
Right.
The Eagles need Doriel Green Beckham. I actually agree with your pick. And Blaine, I think you guys go.
Well,
I agree with your safety pick.
I mean, that's what everyone's picking.
Now the second round.
But to be honest, to be fair, the Giants don't necessarily always go after a team need. We saw that last year with Beckham.
Second round, I actually think you guys go Denzel Perryman or Bernard McKinney, another linebacker out of Mississippi State.
That was one of the possibilities.
Yeah, and
so you agree again?
Yeah, I mean, you did good, Blaine. All right, you guys got a whole bunch of quarterbacks. Why do you need Brett Hundley? Why?
This is Chip Kelly we're talking about. What the heck what are we really going to expect from the Eagles? I gave up. So
safety,
Chip Kelly,
cornerback.
Well, he's not going. This is an offensive team. He is going to go with what he wants, the best player. I think it's going to be Brett Hundley. Don't forget, I said the Eagles are going to try. Yes, they're going to trade Matt Barkley. I believe they're going to trade Sam Bradford. So now we're down to 4 quarterbacks. Because we still got to
all right, guys. What do you think of my picks? Since I'm the only one that I think that made logical picks besides for Paul.
I mean, what was your
Marcus
three
Peters?
again?
I agree with.
Marcus Peters.
I think more of for your first round pick, Marcus Peters, or a Landon Collins.
Landon Collins is overrated.
Yeah, your defense needs to get a bit stronger. They're getting a bit old back there.
This is going to be a strictly defensive draft that the Steelers need to do.
It has to be. And I mean, I was looked at Landon Collins, but he's overrated. He can only play in the box. I don't need another in-box safety. I got Mike Mitchell, who's a waste. All right, when we get back from break on the sideline, we'll finish the semester strong. We're coming back to a case we did earlier in the year. Who's going to win the Stanley Cup when we get back? All right, before we start this courthouse debate, I owe Tyler Jeske an apology because earlier in the semester I said the Lightning were going to be in a mediocre playoff team. Yeah, I was wrong. I really blew that one. So, Tyler, I'm sorry, but maybe you'll convince me to actually full-heartedly pick them. Well, but don't stay too happy because I still might reject you, like my last prom date. All right, so I'm joined by Tyler Cahill, of course, the Lightning guy, Tyler Jeske, and Trevor Sheets. All right, guys, who's going to win the Stanley Cup? And you better all not say Lightning.
The Tampa Bay Lightning are going to win the Stanley Cup.
If they can get past
They're the number one ranked offensive team in the league. the number 11 ranked goals against, number 11 ranked defensive team in the league. But here's my favorite stat of the Lightning this season, guys. They were number 2 in the whole NHL in goals and goals against differential.
Well, I have the best of the West, the Anaheim Ducks, which is the Western Division or Conference is much harder than the Eastern Division. I would say, yeah, because
whatever you say.
Yeah, and plus the Lightning, how physical can they be against the Rangers, which are the most physical team in the NHL?
I don't think if they can skate by the Rangers, I think that's
the
very
Penguins
possible.
can't skate by them. And
well, the Penguins can barely skate by anyway.
Hey, Steven Stamkos, settle down, let everybody else finish their points. Trevor.
All right, well, I'm going with the team that would finish higher in the Atlantic Division than the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm going with the Montreal Canadiens, who are one of 2 teams in the league right now who are up 3-0. I think the big stat is 1-1 between Detroit and Tampa Bay there, Tyler. They're not...
Detroit's not a bad team.
Exactly. They don't
Detroit
miss
is not a bad team. They don't suck in the playoffs. But Tampa still has very much a chance. This is a Montreal team that, while you try to bag on my Lightning team, this is a Montreal team that lost 5 out of 5 against the Lightning. They lost 5 out of 5.
Yes, and they've won 3 out of 3 versus what could be considered one of the hottest teams in the NHL. But one of the hottest teams in the NHL coming into the playoffs.
Montreal does have a better goalie than Tampa Bay. Carey Price had a fantastic year this year.
Well, without a doubt, he's definitely the best goalie in the league. Yeah. But Ben Bishop is no slacker. Who does Anaheim have playing at goalie?
Anderson, or Gibson, either one.
Neither of which are half as good as our 2 goaltenders.
But when you have depth, it doesn't matter either.
Tampa has that same depth.
Not nearly as much as Anaheim. Anaheim can play from behind no matter what. They've shown that.
Tampa, they have a second line that had the best players in the NHL.
Guys, you're all missing the best team in the East. The New York Rangers. They are the best team in the East. So why are you going to beat them? Why are you going to beat them?
Because of the President's Trophy. Because of the President's Trophy.
They're not the Sharks. Oh
yeah,
my.
Well, the Sharks. That doesn't
They're not the Sharks. They're the only team that ever falls for that curse. Jeez.
And they don't have a consistent. The Rangers don't have consistent enough scoring either. Yeah.
But they can win low-scoring games.
You said it yourself the other day. When Rick Nash stinks, the Rangers.
Yeah, but Henrik Lundqvist will also win a series or 2 or get you the Stanley Cup. And know what your team can't do as much as you want to throw out this plus-minus stat. I love plus-minus.
Yeah, it's the best stat in the league.
My turn to talk. See, this is why I don't like the Lightning. Because their defense is mediocre. Yeah, they can score. They got a bunch of Chris Letang's. They're not actually good defensively. Their defense is carried by their offense. Their wingers do the defensive work. So, Tyler, please convince me. Please convince me.
Which is what you need.
No. Your wingers cannot play defense for you.
They still have good defensemen. They have Raccoon.
All right.
I forgot this was a screen.
All right, everybody go. All right. Does everyone agree Tampa's not going to win?
I think we all agree that Tampa can easily win.
They could, yeah.
What? Tampa.
Thank you.
Well, obviously, I think that the Montreal Canadiens are going to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning.
They haven't beat the Tampa Bay Lightning all season.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to be either the Rangers or Tampa Bay coming out of that.
See, I just spent less than 5 minutes.
It all falls on Stamkos. If Stamkos can be that big player that everyone knows he can be.
He already swayed his vote from the Anaheim Ducks to the Tampa Bay Lightning.
They'll get to the finals but lose to the Ducks.
Okay. Right. See, going into this, I actually was going to pick the Lightning. I was pretty convinced. Then they all swayed me not to pick the Lightning. I was looking forward to picking the Lightning, saying Tyler's right in his last episode. Tyler,
right.
Your team's going to make it to the Stanley Cup, but they're going to lose in 6 games to a team that my friend Phil Papore actually threw out there. The Chicago Blackhawks are going to win the Stanley Cup in 6 games.
Tell that to their goaltender.
Yes, that's right. And the backup goalie's playing. If Tampa wins, Tampa might win in 7. But right now,
Tampa wins in 7.
Right now, Tyler, I'll give you the benefit of doubt. They go to the Stanley Cup, but they don't win the Stanley Cup. All right.
I love that blue you're wearing, by the way.
No, I did it just to calm you down, just to kind of make you feel better. All right. Well, that does it. This is another great semester of Sideline. I'd like to thank everyone that was involved. The on-camera talent like Tyler and Trevor, the guys in the control room. We have a great producer in Zach Aaron. But I know you guys are all going to miss us, but it's okay. Join us next year. We're back at the same Pioneer channel, the same Pioneer time. Oh yeah, the same Pioneer Sideline.